you! Don't watch that! Watch this! This is the heavy, heavy monster sound! The nuts...
Alright, so today we're looking at multiplying and dividing directed numbers. So I have my 0 right here in the middle, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember this is called the number line. We're just going over from 2 terms ago. So we have 0 in the middle, and then we have on the right side there are positive numbers, on the left side there are negative numbers. Now you'll notice these are negative numbers because they have a negative sign in front of each number. So -1, -2, -3, -4. These are positive numbers, but as you can see, we don't have the positive sign in front. Now we can put +1, +2, +3, +4, but it's not necessary. So you don't need to put the positive sign in front, but you can. Okay? Good. If you notice, 0 doesn't have a negative or positive sign in front of it. And that's good because 0 is neither positive or negative. In fact, 0 is actually neutral. Alright? Now, let's do some revision in terms of multiplying and dividing. So if we had 3 multiplied by 3, our answer will be 9 because 3 times 3 is 9. If we had 2 multiplied by 5, our answer would be 10 because 2 by 5 is 10. If we had 12 divided by 4, 12 divided by 4 is 3. Alright? Now here's a question for you. All of these numbers that we're using, we're multiplying the 3 and the 3 here, 2 and the 5, 12 divided by 4 over here. Are these numbers positive or negative? And if you say positive, then you are correct. Remember, as I said, you don't need to include these positive signs for these positive numbers. So in actual fact, you can just write a positive number with just the number itself. You don't need the positive sign. So this is actually +3. This is +3. And this 9 is +9. So you have a 3 multiplying by a 3, or rather a +3 multiplying by a +3, and it's going to give you a positive answer, +9. But we don't want to say positive this, positive that all the time. So we just leave it as 3 by 3 is equals to 9. This as well, this is +2 multiplied by +5 will give you a +10. And +12 divided by +4 will give you a +3. But this is work we've done for a long time. Here's the issue. What if we're using -3? What if we said -3 multiplied by -3? What is the answer? Now a lot of you may say, well, if +3 by +3 is +9, then -3 by -3 is -9, but not so fast. -3 by -3 will actually give you a +9. And that brings us to our first rule. If the pair of signs or directions are the same, then the result is positive. So what that is saying is that if you had 4 by 5, both of these numbers are positive. Alright? You're going to get 4 5s are 20. You're going to get a positive result. But if you have a -4 multiplied by a -5, both of these numbers are negative, your answer is going to be +20. So rule number 1 states that if the signs are the same, this has a positive sign, this has a positive sign, this has a negative sign, this has a negative sign. So if the signs, what you're multiplying, if the pair are the same, then your result is going to be positive. And the same thing works for division as well. If we have, let me see, if we have like negative 10 divided by negative 2, because there are two negative numbers, our answer is going to be positive 5. Now remember, you don't need to write a positive sign, you can just write 5. But writing the positive sign, positive 5, is okay. So you can leave it as that, or you can just write it as simply 5. And similarly, if you have something like, as you know, positive 12 divided by positive 6, because these have the same signs, they're both positive, then you're going to get 12 divided by 6 is positive 2. You can put the sign positive 2, or you can just leave it as 2. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 1 states that when the signs are the same, the result is positive. What about when the signs are different? Let's look at that. Let's say we have a 2. We're multiplying it by negative 3. So this is obviously positive 2, and this is a negative 3. So we have positive 2 multiplied to negative 3. Alright? What do you think the answer would be? It's actually going to be, well, we know 2 3s are 6, but the real question is it going to be positive 6 or is it going to be negative 6? The answer is it's going to be negative 6. And what if we have negative 5 multiplied by positive 4? We know that 5 by 4 is 20, but will it be positive 20 or negative 20? Well, it's going to be negative 20. What if we have 15 divided by negative 3? We know that 15 divided by 3 is 5, but is it going to be negative 5 or positive 5? If you say negative 5, then you are correct. So the rule for rule number 2 is that if the pair of signs are different, then the result is negative. So here we have a positive and a negative, two different signs, so our answer is negative. Here we have a negative and a positive, two different signs, so our answer again is negative. Here we have a positive 15 being divided by a negative 3, so our answer is going to be negative 5. Now, just to write it a bit differently, suppose you had positive 3 by negative 4. Now, you may be saying to yourself, this looks a bit confusing. Sir has this multiplication sign next to this negative sign. What you can do to make it a bit easier is place your numbers and their signs in brackets. So you have positive 3 being multiplied by negative 4. So as you know, 3 4s are 12, and a positive, negative, well, the signs are different, then the answer is going to be negative. Let's try a different one. Suppose we have 8 multiplied by negative 2. Now, question, is this 8 positive or negative? Because there's no sign. But remember what I said before, if there's no sign, then by default it is positive. So we have a positive 8 being multiplied to a negative 2. We know 8 by 2 is 16. Is it going to be positive 16 though, or negative 16? It's going to be negative 16. Just one more. Suppose we have 25, negative 25 being divided by negative 5. A negative 25 divided by a negative 5. We can just look at the numbers and we know that 25 divided by 5 is, well, 5. Question. Is it going to be negative 5 or positive 5? Well, we have a negative 25 here and we have a negative 5 here. So the signs are indeed the same. And when the signs are the same, then our answer is actually positive. That's how you do multiplying and dividing by directed numbers.